You want to train your triceps, but you always get elbow pain, right? Today we're going to change that. Here's how. In the past years, my tricep training hasn't been the best. For a while, my range of motion was just simply bad. You could say I was ego lifting, but honestly, I don't even think it was ego lifting. I just had no idea how you should do these exercises. Then later, I started doing double overhead extensions with a very good range of motion until I got snapped off. So the problem is, this is basically just a stressful exercise on your elbow joint, and I've been doing it for too long of a time. Now after this, I couldn't really do any exercises I wanted because my elbows just kept hurting. This is why for a while my tricep training just sucked, and this is probably why my triceps are one of my worst body parts, if not the worst. Sounds familiar? Here are the few solutions I found that change things forever for me, and that's how I will blow up my triceps. The very first tip is to warm up adequately. Now for some reason somebody always comes up with some shitty warm-up protocol. Just do as many warm-up sets as you need. There's no hard rule on how many warm-up sets you need. You should determine that yourself. I do anywhere from 1 to 3 depending on the exercise, where I program it and all that. Right now I usually do my first tricep exercise after 2 presses and 1 pull. So my elbows are usually warmed up already pretty well, so usually I only do like 1 or maybe 2 warm-up sets. But if I would do an arm day, for example, and I would begin with triceps, I would definitely do like 3, maybe even 4 warm-up sets. The second thing is good form. If you're not using good form, what are you expecting? Don't ego lift, don't use a bunch of momentum, don't use too much weight. This is about stimulus, this is not about strength. So what I recommend is when you're doing your tricep exercises, do a slow eccentric, pause, and then extend. If right now you're horsing around with a lot of weight, this will probably change it, and this will probably reduce your weight drastically. I mean, not your weight, this is not a weight loss tactic, but reduce your weight on your tricep exercise, and that also means less load on your joint. So don't use body knees just to be able to lift more weight. I think you've already heard this before, but get more out of less weight. And this is even more important when it comes to things that hurt. Let's talk a bit about the advice that we've always heard. When you're doing extensions, keep your elbows tugged in all the way throughout. Now, recently it turned out that that might not be the best advice, and people started suggesting doing a bit of elbow flare, or not even a bit, maybe even a lot, as much as you need. The thing is, naturally you don't want to move like this way, and when you do this you will find that this is just raping your elbows. So it's perfectly fine to come out here and do it like this, and it will probably feel better as well. Also very important, use full range of motion and get that big stretch. This will lower the weight even more, and it will give you a very good stimulus for your triceps. The way to stretch is king. The next thing is exercise order. A very good advice I got that instantly got rid of most of my pain, if not all, was to do extensions after pushdowns. You see, pushdowns warm up your elbows, and they're very elbow friendly usually. You can do them year round. They're also very good at targeting the long head if you're doing it with dual ropes, and they warm up your elbows. And also they will pre-fatigue your triceps a bit, so after that you will need less weight on your extensions. If you've never tried this before, try it and your extensions will feel smooth. I'm telling you, the first time I tried this, when I was getting into my extensions, I was like, what the hell? What is happening? Another thing that's actually rarely talked about is getting your joints used to certain movements, and so building them up from zero. This is something I first did back then with squats when my hips would hurt from squatting. They would literally hurt just from doing squats with 40 kilos. So I started with the bar, and every week I added 5 pounds. And since then I already squatted like 260, 278 for 12. I'm bad with pounds. I measure everything in kilos, and it doesn't hurt. So I started doing this with the movements of my triceps that hurt too, and now they're fine. So I encourage you, if there's any movement you want to do but you can't because they just hurt, do they hurt with the pinky dumbbells? Do they hurt with the bar? If not, then start doing it with that, and just keep slowly adding weight until you reach a certain weight that's enough for you to go close to failure with a reasonable rep range, and of course without pain. Just be patient with this. We have to do something also that doesn't hurt and actually takes you close to failure. Even if it's a worse movement, as long as you're not going close to failure on the build-up movements yet, they don't count. So you can do them on any day of the week, it doesn't matter. Because let's face it, extensions with 5 pounds won't do much for your triceps, even if you're doing 30 reps. So only count that when you're going very close to failure. I'm talking 2 to 0 reps in reserve. The next thing I want to talk about is programming related. It is to change up up your exercises. You should rotate your exercises every 4 to 8 weeks. Now this will depend on how easily you get overuse injuries. I would say for something like extensions, maybe 4 weeks might be good too, but I would say if you don't feel like tweaks and shit, probably 6 weeks will going to be a bit better, just because it takes you like 2 weeks to even get used to a movement. And when you start rotating in a new movement, on the first like 3 times you're doing it, you're definitely going to get PRs because you're getting better at the movement. But those don't really come because it's not you getting actually stronger, it's just you getting more efficient at the movement. And so if you're switching exercises every 4 weeks, you could argue that only half of those 4 weeks are productive all the time. And so don't rotate too often. This is not to shock the muscle or any bullshit pro bodybuilding advice. This is purely to stay clear of overuse injuries. And also these rotations don't have to be extreme. You don't have to make drastic changes. You can just change a rope cable extension to a D-handle extension. So you just have to do something a little bit different. And my last advice is going to be to use elbow sleeves. Some people are going to be like, yeah, but I'm not a fucking pussy. Yes, you are. I'm asking you the question, why would wearing elbow sleeves make you pussy? Wearing elbow sleeves is not what makes you a pussy. It's having sticks for arms. So if it helps you reduce or get rid of the pain completely when training triceps, why wouldn't you wear an elbow sleeve? Just try it. If you know somebody that has them, ask them to try it. You could try it for 1-2 workouts, and then if it works, you buy one. If it doesn't, you don't. Elbow sleeves and knee sleeves, they aren't for pussies. They are for people that still want to be able to lift at 50 without pain. And also your elbows hurting when you're trying to train triceps can be very demotivating. So if you feel like you've lost your motivation for lifting, watch this video here.